Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne. I am a law student from Melbourne, Australia, and I hope you are ready for some crazy. We have got a lot of crazy going on at the moment, and I'm going to leave the Katie Joy craziness to the very last. Yes, so you've got plenty of time to get your popcorn ready because there's lots of other craziness happening, and this is mainly in Australia, but I've been sitting on some of this stuff for a few days and I wanted to get it off my chest, and I thought, well, I'm coming live, let's do it all. We'll do it all in one hit. But I'm certain that some of this crazy will make you very, very, very annoyed as well. So let's start with Mr. Bruce Lehrmann. Now, he has got, for some reason, I've got captions on my coming up on my screen. I don't know why I've got captions, but anyway. There we go. So you're going to see on my screen, you're going to see my captions. I don't know how or why or when, but it just sort of sums up my day, really. Okay, so, oh no, you don't get the captions. That's good. So Bruce Lehrmann was granted an extension the other day to consider appealing his defamation case. There was a costs hearing the other day, and his lawyers have left him, and he has new lawyers, and he gave him an extension of time. Now, what also happened is that another lawyer got roasted by the judge. So Bruce Lehrmann was granted extension of time to consider an appeal, which saw Network 10's conduct outside the court after the judgment described by Justice Michael Lee as discourteous and misleading. Lee said 10's decision to offer comment outside his court minutes after judgment was handed down caused him concern, in particular the claim the network had been vindicated. Lawyer Justin Quill, who was authorised to speak by 10, told journalists on the 15th of April that 10 had been vindicated by the judgment, saying the way in which judges and barristers pick apart and dissect what journalists did or didn't do in applying legal threshold or legal tests of reasonableness is quite divorced from reality. Lee said Quill's assertion made immediately after the judgment and without even reading the judgment. He refuted Quill's claim that his findings were divorced from reality. So here is a lesson for you. Don't question a judge's decision outside a court. Notwithstanding, Network 10 apparently thought it appropriate for a period of 48 hours following the delivery of the judgment to go around and effectively say it was vindicated in relation to all aspects of conduct, Lee said. That was quite misleading. I made it perfectly plain that what occurred in this case was that the respondents, Ten and Wilkinson, fell well short of a standard of reasonableness in a credulous way they went about reporting these allegations. I was quite clear about that. In his judgment, he'd been critical of the conduct of the project's team, saying the allegations were intertwined with a cover-up and the project team had strong indications of the unreliability of their main source, particularly as to how she lost material on her phone and selected material survived. He was also critical of Ten approving Wilkinson's Logie speech. In an affidavit released by the court on Wednesday, Quill apologised for his off-the-cuff remarks, saying he did not intend to suggest that His Honour was wrong in his view of the law of contempt of court or its application in this case, or that the law of contempt does not bind and must be complied with by media organisations. I absolutely did not intend to convey any lack of respect for this court or the law. I did not intend to convey any suggestion about the Australian media's obligation to comply with the law. Ten's Silk, Dr. Matthew Collins, KC, was asking the court to make an order that Lehrman pay all 10 costs and said the conduct of Quill was not relevant when considering the costs matter. Ten's lawyers were contrite and they'd each filed affidavits explaining their conduct. These are three very serious lawyers who have put on very contrite expressions of sincere expressions of contrition. So they were asking for all of their costs to be paid. The other thing is that the court also heard that it was possible Lehrman, who's not worked since 2021, could go bankrupt and unable to meet a costs order. So alternately, someone has to go and bankrupt Mr. Lehrman. So he had until May 13 to file an application, but he's been granted until May 31. And Lee reserved his decisions on costs, so we don't know what it's going to cost him. Former Spotlight producer Tabor Ulbeck, a late witness to trial, asked for $60,000 to be paid by Lehrman and Ten. And Lee sort of told his lawyers to tell Ulbeck that he's dreaming. It's not going to happen. So there is definitely an appeal, or they're looking at an appeal at the moment. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how or what they're going to say. I mean, the only thing I guess they could say is that he wasn't properly defended. But the guy, from what I believe, they were doing it pro bono. So, the guy that represented him put his reputation at risk. So this is the thing that so following that, let me just tell you this. I mean, if this has really riled me up, and a court ruled Brittney Higgins is an R victim and her former boss is taking her to trial again. Yep, Liberal Senator Linda Reynolds, who plans to retire from politics at the next election. She's a sitting member of Parliament. She's a sitting senator. Is suing both her former political staffer and her fiancé over a series of social media posts. Her Mr. Shiraz has since thrown in the towel in his defamation battle, while Miss Higgins failed to convince the court her case should be delayed with her mental health issues. Brittney Higgins has been in several courts and has had to relive her nightmare over and over and over and over again. The court returned to the last Tuesday to hear Ms. Higgins' application to vacate the trial listed for 6 weeks in late July. During the hearing, Mr. Shiraz tweeted he'd no longer fight the case. Despite our best efforts, Linda Reynolds has not accepted attempts to resolve this matter through mediation, and Brittney may now be exposed to another trial. It will be her third. He said, I cannot pay legal costs to defend myself over a 6-week trial. As a result of today, I informed the court that I will not fight Reynolds' action any longer. I appeal now for Senator Reynolds to settle her litigation of Brittney, an R victim, by agreeing to disagree and putting all of this behind. It's time to move on. Outside the court, Linda Reynolds' lawyer said the tweet was insulting, aggravating, and attention-seeking. So they've said they said he lives in a chateau, he hasn't got a job, he's got a QC and 2 solicitors. So that's that. Now, but what's really interesting is if that's not bad enough, she has she's about to try and freeze all of her assets. Former Defence Minister is set to launch fresh legal action targeting Brittney Higgins' trust fund that protects what remains of her $2.4 million compensation payout. So she was given compensation because she was injured at work. The Liberal senator, who has warned Brittney Higgins that she will be regrettably forced to proceed to a defamation trial to prove there was never a cover-up of her alleged R, is set to launch the application in Perth like today. I haven't heard that's happened. It follows the court's ruling, federal court's finding that an abundance of probabilities that Bruce Lehrmann R'd Brittney Higgins on Linda Reynolds' office couch in 2019. But Solicitor Reynolds says her defamation case against her former employee was never about the alleged R, but comments on social media where Brittney Higgins says she wasn't supported. Legal sources have confirmed that Linda Reynolds will seek to discover who is the trustee of the trust fund and whether it could protect her from paying her former boss's damages in a defamation case. Her legal team are seeking to probe claims that following the settlement, Mr. Higgins took Mr. Shiraz on a holiday to the Maldives, rented a house on the Gold Coast, and then set up a discretionary trust fund in February. According to the article in the Daily Mail, this would protect her assets from any future lawsuits. There is no suggestion that this was the purpose of the trust fund. So they want to learn more about the trust fund and try and put a freeze on it. So that she can access it if it... Oops. So what do you think about politicians doing this? But see, he says, I appreciate Miss Higgins' apology, not only to me, but to Miss Reynolds' former Fiona Brown. I sincerely hope Justice Lee's findings in relation to Miss Higgins' allegation of rape will give her peace. My legal action against both Mr. Higgins and Mr. Shiraz was never about the allegation. My actions deals with what Justice exposes false allegations raised 2 years after the allegations that I and my staff, specifically Fiona Brown, not only failed to support Miss Higgins, but subjected her to a dreadful and damaging political cover-up. So she did apologise. My perceptions and feelings about what happened in the days and weeks after my R are different from theirs. I deeply regret that we have not yet found common ground. At enormous emotional and financial costs, I fought for 3 years to expose the truth in relation to my conduct. Miss Higgins was previously hospitalised in Perth this year after a serious self-harm incident. It followed a day of mediation over the defamation case with Linda Reynolds, which failed to resolve the matter. Senator Reynolds then proposed a 2-week break to allow her former employee to recover. And I will not tolerate being defamed by her or anybody. If Senator Reynolds wins, she could be awarded a sizable chunk of what remains of the compensation that Brittney Higgins was awarded following claims she suffered a psychiatric injury in the workplace. And she's not worked since 2021. Look, I just find it to be absolutely disgusting that a politician seems to be wanting to do that to a former employee. I'm nearly ready to hit the Katie Joy thing, but there's one more thing I want to talk about. But yeah, tell me what you think about that. Should politicians be able to do that? That's what I want to know. And let's not forget that Senator Reynolds also called her a lying cow as well. There's one more thing I put in, and this one was in the title. David McBride. Now, David McBride was a ADF lawyer, an Australian Defence Force lawyer. He was a whistleblower. He alerted the media about some war crimes that were happening. Rather than be thanked and treated like a hero, he is awaiting sentencing today. So he is awaiting sentencing today, and it is I don't think, again, I'm not very happy about this. So a group of high-profile whistleblowers who aren't sparked royal commissions and changed laws have written an open letter to the federal government accusing it of overseeing a broken system that has left whistleblowers exposed to costly fees and worse. So he's got his trial in Canberra today. When was this? This was 2023. Hang on. So David McBride, where are we? Faced court today. Where are we? Oh, yeah, here we go. So, David McBride's lawyers are arguing he had honourable intentions when he shared classified material with journalists. He did plead guilty to sharing and stealing documents because the court rejected every ounce of evidence that he actually had. So he had no choice. Now, the lawyer that he's got acting for him, Stephen Odgers, actually has written and is one of the most renowned and esteemed lawyers in regards to evidence law. And the judge rejected. I mean, we always refer to in our lectures as Odkins because that's one of the eminent textbooks for evidence law. Mr. Stephen Odgers, who wrote the evidence law textbook, whose writings help lawyers train and in submitting evidence, had all the evidence that he had for this case thrown out. So he had no chance in order to defend himself. So he was in court today for sentencing. His family and assistant dog Jake was also supporting him. Today, his lawyer Stephen Odgers told the court McBride honestly believed there was misconduct within the Australian Defence Force. He said he had a perception that there were improper investigations in a cynical window dressing exercise where some people are being prosecuted when they had done nothing. He was charged after handing classified documents to journalists Andrew Clark, Chris Masters, and Dan Oakes. In a statement read by the court by his lawyer, McBride said he felt it was his duty to say something. I was looking for a crack investigative reporter. I couldn't do it myself. The ABC used the material as the basis for its series, The Afghan Files, which revealed allegations Australian troops were involved in illegal killings in Afghanistan, even though that was at odds with McBride's intention in sharing the documents. Mr. Odgins told the court his client had tried to resolve the matter internally. He'd come to the view that internal investigations would go nowhere. He was not motivated by any personal advantage. He believed he was doing his duty and nothing illegal. The court has been asked to take into account McBride's mental health. At the time of the offending, had PTSD, was abusing alcohol, and had major depression. He also received 13 character references, highlighting his passion for for justice. His lawyers said the court should find him of a good character. Now, interestingly enough, McBride's the prosecutors were not saying much at all. Really putting the boots into him. Let's have a look. So the Australian prosecutors. Now, here's the other thing. The Australian Attorney General at any time can actually can actually stop it and say we're going to drop the investigation. And that's what people are asking for. So the Commonwealth wants to see Army whistleblower David McBride in jail for more than 2 years for his role in leaking secret defence documents. So he worked as an army lawyer. They said his actions amounted to egregious conduct and affected how defence conducted some operations, as well as Australia's relations with allies. The prosecutor told the court McBride knew his behaviour was deceptive and that his decision to leak classified documents to the media before a defence watchdog handed its final report into allegations reflected a level of arrogance. So he pleaded guilty after the ACT Supreme Court upheld a Commonwealth intervention to withhold key evidence it deemed as having the potential to jeopardise the security and defence of Australia. So there you go. So the Brereton report, which actually was the result of this leaked document, found that Australian forces murdered 39 Afghan civilians and prisoners, with most of the killings occurring in 2012, 2013. And McBride defended his actions as standing up for Australian values in the face of a government who has lost its sight on the job. So Australia is one of the few countries that doesn't have, I believe the US have protections for whistleblowers. Australia, I'm afraid, doesn't. And the Commonwealth wants more than 2 years. But he is going to do, the sentencing is going to happen on May 14th. Now, if you, there is Department Warrant Mark Dreyfus, ending colliery prosecution would feel pressure to do the same for David McBride. So there's somebody else that was in a similar scenario, and he stopped that prosecution. So they're calling this for the same thing to happen here. There was an army of people. Now, his lawyers, who is friendly Geordie's lawyers, Mark Davies, did start up a legal fund. It would be offence to discuss what McBride released, but he strongly asserts the material is merely embarrassing to the military command, not in any way compromise international security. The McBride revelations undoubtedly led to the explosive Brereton report. So this information released a whole investigation to find there was war crimes committed. Despite the shocking details, no ministers resigned, no senior officers were dismissed or demoted, and no charges have been laid. The person who's facing the criminal court and possible jail is David McBride, the man who tried to warn the ADF of what was occurring in Afghanistan. So I have put the link to that to his legal case and battle down below. All of the lawyers are working for a low bono, which means they've lowered the fees as they're working on a reduced fee because they believe in it. And so that's where you're, if you want to help that. But yeah, I'm interested to see. So that's one of the craziness. So let's go. I left Gypsy Rose off the crazy list, but I don't know that we'll be able to cope with all the crazy. But now, the moment that you've been waiting for. Here we are, we get onto the carousel of crazy. All right. So here we go. Are we ready? I take a couple of days off, and it is crazy. All right, here we go. So we have pulled out this weekend the dogs, and then we get to the hacking. So we're going to complain about hacking. So this was, oops, why did I like that? Not me pitching a new docuseries, 2 separate production companies. Oh yes, that's exactly what I did today. A story that needs exposure, the real story. They said they were super interested. When a friend asks me to help them get their story out, I do my best to help. I can't share specifics, but I hope this specific group will finally be exposed and victims get justice. Here we go. Then she tried this one, Justice for JJ. So this is about Chad Daybell. And I mean, anyway. Here we go, pets. Because, we've got to try deflection. 4 years ago, we lost our cat, Mason. We wanted to honour him by rescuing a cat. When I went to meet this adorable litter of kittens, I only planned to bring one home. We adopted them in March 2020. However, Charlie on the left made that impossible. Charlie picked me as his human almost immediately. He sat at the door when I was going to leave, refused to let me leave. He climbed in my lap and started to purr. Ha ha! I knew that Charlie would be our cat. Then the woman told me Charlie's bonded to his brother, Mr. President. We changed his name to Darwin. The foster mum said she doesn't like to split up bonded little mates. I made the split decision and adopted them both. A few days later, both of the boys joined our family. I learned very quickly why Darwin and Charlie bonded. Charlie is very outgoing, vocal, and bossy. He does all the talking. Darwin has an issue with his vocal cords and he can't meow very well. His meow is very quiet. Sometimes he can get our squeaky meow, but often he'll meow and it's simply air that comes out. It occurred to me that Charlie knew about his brother's struggles and became his voice. In return, Darwin taught Charlie not to be such a scaredy cat. He's afraid of everything. Charlie remains bossy, loud, and opinionated. He's very loving and always with me. Darwin is more aloof, adventurous, daring, and quiet. Darwin cuddles, but is more independent than Charlie. Their personalities are a perfect fit. The biggest challenge has been integrating them into the rest of our family. They stick together and hate the dogs. The dogs think Darwin's puffy tail is a squirrel, so they like to chase him around the house. After 4 years, Darwin and Charlie rarely go down to the main level of the house where the dogs are around. They also hiss at our other cats. Long story short, enjoy my twins. I would have thought after 4 years they all would have gotten on well. Anyway, it's a bit sad. And she says, happening now. All right, now, so so we've had the kid out, we've had the dogs out, we've had the animals out. Now we go back to the hacking. Hello, friends. Many of you know my Facebook page has been hacked since November. I've been unable to recover the page despite many hours of work with Meta. Many of you know that due to my work reporting on cults, my accounts can become targets of hackers and agents of the cults, hoping to stop my reporting. The vulnerability has not been lost on me, and I've taken numerous steps to secure all accounts. However, recently I was doing work on my channel. While performing the maintenance, I became aware that several unknown moderators I became aware had been added to my channel. Additionally, known problematic accounts were deemed approved users. I have removed the moderators from my account. However, it is unclear if any damage they did to my channel. Most specifically, moderators can block and delete users from commenting and seeing my content. If you're a user that has been recently hidden or removed from my channel, please reach out to me via DM here on Instagram or Facebook. It's more likely that I did not hide you from my channel. I apologize for any inconvenience. I fully secured my account and have changed all passwords. Thank you for your understanding. I appreciate you all for supporting my channel by watching and engaging and commenting on the videos. Thank you, Katie Joy. Hey, she signed it, Katie Joy. She said she doesn't like being called Katie Joy. I thought she said she had some type of token or something for her YouTube. So now she's saying her YouTube has been compromised. So she's now saying her YouTube channel's been compromised. And so is that why she's now, because if I have a look, I believe she gained subscribers and lost subscribers. And I guess that's what she's trying to say is the reason why she's lost subscribers, not the fact that people have churned out. And her views are way down. Oh, she deleted it. She's deleted her Robert Shin video. Look, it's deleted. And won't back down. It's called The Smear Campaign Begins. Why I Won't Back Down or Let an Alleged Cult Leader. It's deleted. Woo-hoo. But just have a look here. You got 90,000, 86, 100,000, 96,000, 46,000, 79,000. Yes, this is her excuse to get correct. Plan to create. Hello, plan to create. Yes. The hacking 24,000, 64,000, 55,000. She's losing views. She's got to come up with something. Why not say that she was hacked? So she had, according to this, she had 1,000 on the 4th. She got another 1,000 subscribers on the 5th of the 4th. There we go. Look. I mean, the 4th and the 5th. So, yes. But why did she delete that one, though? Why did she delete that? The smear campaign against me and others that have worked diligently on the production to expose the alleged cult and enable whistleblowers to share their stories have begun. This is just the beginning. But Roberto, I won't back down. That was about the hit piece from Dextero. It's been privated. Look. It's been privated. It's been privated. That's interesting, isn't it? That one in particular got privated. Don't you think so? How are you going, plan to create? All right, there's one more thing we need to do. Well, a couple more things we need to do. There's also a couple of other things that we're going to look at the Twitter. But anyway, she did a Q&A. So I'm just going to, I might do it like this, where this is big and I'm going to be down the bottom. All right, so all right, so here we go. How Jessica D distance herself from the family? Do you see her leaving the fold? She's not distanced herself. I do not ever see her leaving the fold. That's Jessica Duggar. Do you think Christine and Janelle? I do this all the time. I stuff this up so much. I've got to stop being trigger happy. I'm too trigger happy. And also, I didn't get the job, by the way. I'm pretty gutted, because if I told you what the job was, you would have said it was perfect for me. And I sort of feel a bit, when somebody recommends that you get the job and then they sort of do the dirty on you. That's what it feels like anyway. Probably, but anyway, is what it is. All right, you're just doing the dishes? Nice. All right, so here we go. Are we seeing more footage in Denmark and Australia at the sister wives? Honestly, I don't know. No, I thought Can you report on cults other than the ones that have to do with polygamy? I do report on cults other than polygamy. Is it easy to join a polygamous cult, or are they selective, secretive? Not easy. Most are born into the groups, or they converted from the LDS faith into the cult, she says. I think some of your answers are very curt. This surprises me. You offered people to ask. I'm trying to be as concise as possible. My text does not convey tone, and there is no curtness involved. I am a direct person. What about a group lawsuit from all victims with like the ALCU or some entity? The laws would have to change to sue a network over the content they broadcast. Nothing they are broadcasting is technically illegal, and there is no laws protecting people that participate on reality television. It's called buyer beware, people. Why do you think people get involved in cults? I think the biggest takeaway from this question, no one joins a cult. They join a group of people that shows them a side that is positive, and they don't see a negative until they are indoctrinated and conditioned to accept the negative. I don't know the people. Then we get to what is a cult, really, because any group of people could be deemed a cult. To be perfectly honest, I mean, her little group could be called a cult because they all don't get to think for themselves. Because if they say anything that's against her, she deletes their comments, which is cult-like behavior, cult leader behavior. But anyway. People are looking for a sense of belonging at the moment, and we're seeing this particularly with a lot of teens and those that are getting into trouble. They feel accepted and belonging. They're just, looking for something. I always thought Ginger was better off in away. Is her husband just as bad? Ginger is involved with John MacArthur's church, which is high control church that allows women to wear pants. What? That didn't answer the question. Do you know if it will be released in Ireland? I've looked and can't find it. Check your local listings on Netflix. You can search on the platform to see. Unfortunately, I can't check for every country and can't access international apps. Oh, dear. Any update on the Gosens? I haven't seen much new in the recent months. I know John continues to do PR and interviews. There are rumours about Colin not being in the Marines anymore, but I don't know if that's true or not. John says he's going to school in the fall. Okay, so she had a whole pile of questions. So I think I missed some of the good ones. Oh, wait on. Oh, yeah. I think Cody is unpredictable and known to track his family through the show. So she reckons that Cody tracks them. Good one, Katie. I mean, good. So now she's accusing Cody of tracking them. Yeah, good one. So I think we've seen all of these. Okay, so let's go and have a look at there was lots more there. I think some of them have expired because I didn't get the first lot. So let's have a look at Balls, because Miss Balls and Llama Girl, they will have it all, because I know that they have it all. Oh yes, she made an announcement today that she's going to be on camera. Thank you. See, I told you Miss Balls had all. Hey friends, I'll be back on camera this coming week. I had a bit of a mental health setback in March. I went to the doctor a couple of weeks ago. Thankfully, my new med regimen, is working well. I apologise for the up and down with the channel. I haven't gone through a funk like this in years. The topics I cover can definitely do a number on me, so I needed to make sure I take care of me. In the meantime, enjoy this photo of my twins when they were kittens. See you soon. Regimen. Oh, yes, here we go. I knew, see, everybody, people have grabbed everything, which is good. I'm a bit slow to grab it all. Have you ever been concerned about your safety? These abusive men seem to stop at nothing. And she says, no, she's not afraid of her safety, people. So what about all those times where she said she was afraid of her safety? She's not afraid of her safety. Just remember that. Okay. Then she's going to make a statement. She's going to talk about, has Miranda's husband's family ever spoken about him? James's ex-wife, Angela, and I have spoken. Angela has shared her frustrations with the situation, specifically around their son James has a small family, and they haven't said anything. This is also the second cult he's been involved in. The second cult. Outballs has actually come with some receipts here. Let me have a look. Let me show you here. She says here, James does not have a small family. Here is the youngest. He's the youngest of 3 siblings, and altogether there are 6 nieces and nephews. Here are James and Miranda at his brother's wedding and Thanksgiving. So, and she's crossed out the kids' faces. There you go. So, right. And then that's about the cats. Oh, here's some more here. Why hasn't Melanie spoken about the documentary? She's been very quiet. Now she says she can't speak for Melanie or any survivor, but I thought she was a mouthpiece for the Wilkins. This is a very emotional time for all of them. After the series comes out, there will be more likely a wave of posts by the people involved. Remember, we are all working with a network. Melanie is also getting married this month. She's busy. Why has the 7M cult let Miranda see her family recently? According to Kyle Douglas's lawsuit, Robert has allowed members to see family on their own time, and outings are allegedly done for PR attempt to show the public that the group doesn't isolate their members. However, get-togethers are still have to be approved, and they can't miss church events, or they can be punished, left out of work, according to Kyle's lawsuit. Remember, they're only allegations. They've not been proven. When this 7M doc comes out, do you think Miranda will be closed back off from her family? May 29, 2024. It's hard to anticipate Robert's response. He'll either put out content as usual and ignore her, or he'll go on lockdown tirade. Those are my opinions. I just hope she watches the series and leaves. Does the NDA prevent OG sister wives from writing a book? Yes, unless approved by the network. They'd be unable to write a tell-all that would negatively impact the show. So that was that one. So hello to the 49 of you watching. It would be great if you could hit the like button. If you could. We saw that one. Do you think Jill D is closer to some of her siblings and mum? It seems no. I don't think she's closer than it seems. Jill is a people pleaser in her own words and still wants relationships, but keeps them at a distance for her own mental health, which she discovers in her book. How does TLC get away with all the exploitation? Because she says they fall under documentaries, so they claim they're documentaries when they are not anything of the sort. Having worked in a documentary, I promise you, TLC is scripted reality with producers that provoke and exploit. Documentarians would never exploit or seek to add trauma to their subjects. So she's worked on one documentary and now she's a documentarian. Do you think Anna will wait for Josh? Yes. She's a documentarian. Has Miranda's husband finally ever spoken about him? That's right. Is Gypsy really dating Ken again? I mean, she told TMZ they were dating. Gypsy has a voice and she's making her own choices. She's allowed to learn and grow. I was told weeks ago that she wanted to reconnect with him, but I don't know how fast they will go. Gypsy makes decisions quickly, super fast, and can be impulsive. So hang on, folks. But Sister Wives still filming? Or did TLC decide it was enough? Cody filmed his dad and brother's deaths. Mary filmed her mum's death. Janelle filmed her mum's death. Death doesn't stop the network or family filming, unfortunately. Oh, dear. And then this was her Ask Me Anything. And she, of course, she puts in there and the documentary stuff. And it says, what if you could get a high-profile celebrity on board? I feel these families is not the same situation for Christine Brown, who found the strength to leave. She says Netflix is helping, and a high-profile did step in to help. And then this one says, in previous video, you said something that bothered me. They went to church and Melanie says, I don't like this. Come on, Miranda, let's leave. And OMG, Miranda didn't leave. Sarcasm. Miranda can do whatever she wants. I believe that happened because I get the impression Melanie was the dominant one. As soon as Miranda did her own thing, Melanie stole her TikTok account. I know you say this isn't a toxic family. But honestly, as someone who's had, they run me the wrong way, I can't help to watch this and see if my impression changes, but I trust your intuitions. Then she says, it would appear you haven't watched the whole video. There's evidence at the end that this isn't about Miranda. Also, she didn't steal a TikTok account. That's literally speak from the cult. So, yes. So, there is some of the stuff that's happened this week on the carnival of hell. Because there has been a lot. I mean, talking about Haiti has shared some stuff on Gypsy Rose. I mean, I cannot believe, actually I can see why Gypsy Rose and KJ would be, well, I know it's Gypsy Rose's stepmother, but how could you allow somebody who is, there's she's live streaming with Ken, and it's just crazy. I'm sort of feeling for Ryan, actually. Here we go. Look at this. And again, Haiti has done this. Like, this is Gypsy Rose. Like, a legendary love story. Really? They're soulmates. Haiti wrote, she wrote this. How she can be happy all she wants, but I think it's really messed up how she's throwing this all in Ryan Anderson's face while simultaneously trying to label him as abusive and asking for spousal support. I mean, that is just a bit low, I think. So that is me done for the night. That's everything that I've got to share, unless something has happened in the last little while. But I wanted to share with you all the craziness. There's probably more craziness out there, but I just, as I said, there's so much. I just can't keep up. Just can't keep up with it all. She hasn't posted again. So I did check the court. There's been nothing in the court. But the fact that she has deleted that one where she's ripped into the reporter is very, very telling. So let me just show you again. It's been privated. The one that titled "The Smear Campaign Begins: Why I Won't Back Down." 'Cause I won't back down. 'Cause I won't. 'Cause I stand my ground. I won't back down. Hey, baby. There is no easy way out. I won't back down. So here we go. Let's have a look again. I have been a bit distracted. I've got back into my family tree again, and I'm just discovering where some of my behavior comes from. It's hereditary. So it says that the smear campaign begins, why I won't back down or let an alleged cult leader intimidate me. That was privated. Okay. It had 2,009 likes and 212 comments. See, and if you look here, this one, right? 718,000 views. She was getting 400,000 views for the Duggars. In 2021, her views were up at the 400,000 mark. So if we go back here, so just to show you again, it says it's deleted, but it's privated. So if we go to her views, now last week we saw that she averaged 132,000 views. She's down to 130,000 views. And going to the negative, when did she delete that video? So because she's privated it, so obviously there was enough views in there that hasn't actually put her into the negative. But you can see that her views have gotten worse as it's going along. So she's lost 2,000 views in the last week. We know, because it said, if you go back to look at some of the videos, see, on the 16th of the 3rd, she got 430,000 views. Hello, cheap glass. Yeah, that's 430,000 views, and now she cannot get 250. Like, that was March, and look, she's struggling. So yeah. So the last video she did got 55,000 views. This one got 24,000, 81,000, 79,000. This one got 100,000. 104, 124. So they're all over the place. There's no consistency in it. So anyway, that is that. Yeah. Now, someone asked me the other day about protesters at universities, and I said I didn't know anything. I do know something now because I got an email from my university saying that they're allowed to protest. It has to be peaceful, and everybody's allowed to protest, and and they want it done peacefully. But I don't know how that's going to work. There has been a few things, but it's not been, I don't believe it's been of the level that's happened in the US. So, from what I can work out. So yeah, that's the answer to that one. Oh. So that is about all I've got for you, unless I can come up with something else, but I don't think I've got much more to say. There was a shooting yesterday. There's been stabbings all over the place. But yesterday in Western Australia, police shot a 16-year-old deceased. Now, let me tell you that Australian police firearms are always the last resort. They actually have tasers. But I believe that he was coming at them and the tasers didn't work. So unfortunately, and they've come out and said that he was a radicalized 16-year-old. And I must be really naive, because when I was 16, I mean, I know life was different, but when I was 16, I was too busy to even think about stuff like that. I was, playing sport and going to youth group and all that sort of stuff and hanging out with friends. It's just really, really bizarre, isn't it? That life has changed, that you can become radicalized. So, and apparently a Chinese warplane has fired flares in front of an Australian helicopter. The defence minister has just fired back and labelled the encounter unsafe and unprofessional. So, here we go.
Hobart has been playing Australia's part in preventing North Korea smuggle sanctioned goods.
And here we go.
We're going to breaking news now. A Chinese warplane has fired flares at an Australian helicopter, and Defence Minister Richard Marles has just hit back, labelling the encounter unsafe and unprofessional at a time when Canberra is trying to ease tensions with Beijing. Nine's National Affairs editor Andrew Probyn has this exclusive report.
HMAS Hobart has been playing Australia's part in preventing North Korea smuggle sanctioned goods across the high seas. But on Saturday night, there was near disaster as a Navy Seahawk helicopter conducted routine operations in international waters. The Seahawk was intercepted by a Chinese J-10 Air Force jet.
The PLA Air Force plane dropped flares about 300 metres in front of the Seahawk helicopter and about 60 metres above it.
Only quick reflexes by the Australian pilot averted disaster.
Minister, I've been told that this was so serious it almost took one of our choppers out of the sky.
This was an incident which was both unsafe and unprofessional.
Richard Marles says Australia has formally registered its deep concern about the incident, telling Beijing it's completely unacceptable.
Beijing's not going to care.
We will not be deterred from engaging in lawful activities and activities which are there to enforce UN sanctions in respect of North Korea.
While no one was hurt in this incident, China's aggression in the region is worrying Australia and its allies. In November, Navy divers were injured when a Chinese warship issued sonar pulses as HMAS Toowoomba operated in the South China Sea. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
There you go. They're testing to see. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, that's just come through now as breaking news. So anyway, yeah. Yeah, so anyway, that's where we are. And so some questions. Who's paying for Bruce Lehrmann's possible appeal if he hasn't worked since 2021? What do you make of Senator Linda Reynolds trying to freeze Brittney Higgins' assets so that she can't access any money? I mean, I find that conduct is unbecoming. And, when you're in the public like a politician, you should expect some heat. There's an old saying, if you don't like the heat, get out of the kitchen. Then, of course, we've had Katie's I don't know, whatever that is, whatever that was. So now she's saying that everything's been hacked, including her YouTube channel. And if you've been blocked on her YouTube channel, to let her know. Wow. See, that doesn't surprise me either, to be honest. That doesn't surprise me. Well, the problem, I mean, they've still never really gotten to the bottom of COVID. I mean, COVID is rampant here at the moment. Rampant. I mean, my dad's just got it. So, look, I said, I know that the law firm that's representing her wrote something on it about finding a reputation back. And I said, as soon as she went after Brittney, that was the end of it for me. And not to let her recover. I mean, she just had the verdict to say that it was likely that she was AR'd in Parliament House in her workplace, and now she's defending. She's having to defend herself again. I mean, how many times does she have to tell her story? I just don't like it. Wait. So this is what they said. So they're actually working for a defendant in court proceedings is not perfectly obliged to defend the claims against them. If they don't, the plaintiff still has to satisfy their court their claim is good. But that's a low bar when there's no contradictor. Reynolds likely to obtain a verdict. And I said, Linda Reynolds taking Higgins to court lowered any respect I had for her already. And then someone called me dumb. And then someone challenged me on the fact, because I said, well, actually, she called her a lying cow. Reynolds called Higgins a lying cow. And I just said, well, calling her a lying cow would be defamatory. And then someone said, well, he did say that, Higgins wasn't a great witness. Well, I would then say, well, it's the cow part that I'm against. So, thank you. Hello, Sonia. Yeah, it's great. I try to do the best I can to cover what I can. And as I said, I've been sitting on the Bruce Lehrmann stuff for a couple of days, but it's actually been good because, as I said, I found out today I didn't get a job that I swear was made for me. And I was told that I did a really excellent apparently it was described as being amazing. But there was one thing that I said that was my weakness, and and it is. There's one part that I am not as skillful on, and they decided that would therefore make me unsuitable for the job. Not that I couldn't do it, it's just that I don't have a lot of experience doing that one thing. I could do it with my eyes closed. So I just felt like I'd been kicked in the stomach tonight, and I really wasn't feeling very good. So you've all cheered me up tonight, so thank you. And that's interesting, Cheap Glass, because I find it very interesting that there's a lot of and particularly the trans activists supporting Hamas, and they don't actually realize that if they went to Palestine, they would not actually probably come out alive, which I find to be really, really interesting. Which, is fascinating. So, and they don't seem to care about that either. I was like, there's been a few topics happening around in Australia, and I was talking to someone about them, and they said, I would have what's called an unpopular opinion. I said, I don't think I've got an unpopular opinion. I think I'm just more level-headed as such, because if you look back at history, Israel there's always been fighting and wars right back. Even in biblical times, they've been fighting over land and fighting over territory way back. Whether it's Rome, the Egyptians, and so there's always been fighting there. So I'm sort of a little bit more blasé about stuff like that, which probably makes me, I just go, okay, I'm horrified by it, and I'm really upset that people are dying, and I'm really upset for all the innocent victims. But I also know that history has shown that that part of the world is very contentious, and I don't know. It was like, it was like Ireland. There was always the Northern Ireland and fighting in Ireland for a long time, and eventually that sorted itself out. It was probably people are hating me now. Like, I took an exception the other day to something that was said at the football about getting rid of gender-based violence in the home. And I sort of said, I opened my mouth and I said, well, there is a majority of violence domestically against men against women. There is increasingly, and I looked up the LGBTQI advocacy group, and there is a number of same-sex couples that is increasing. And so when they're talking about violence in the home, and they're talking about women, they're also putting the same-sex women in against women. I believe that too, Plan to Create. That's my understanding too. I know, hey? Yeah. Oh, and the other one, cheap glass, was if circumstances were different. Like, what circumstances? You need a person. So, and also the increasing violence between kids to parents is also increasing as well. So I would rather say, let's get rid of all violence in our homes, as opposed to singling out, because what's happening is it's while one's going down, the others are coming up. Well, actually, they've been. The thing is, I think cheap glass, it goes back even before then. It goes back to even before Jesus' time. I mean, even Old Testament time. But anyway, I just want to show. Yeah, look, and the other thing that I said, the other thing I said was that they're not going to. They always pick the one that they always pick they'll always reveal the one that's going to get the most shock value out of society. They're not going to tell you something see here, this is from the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners. Okay, LGBTQIA people experience family violence at a higher rate than non-LGBTQI. The thing is, we only know those that are reported. We don't know those that aren't reported. So, and other diverse identities such as multicultural, multi-faith, having disability. So, a Victorian population study in 2017 found that LGBTQIA+ people were more likely to experience discrimination. Oh yeah, that was in a clinical context. IB experienced at a similar high rates in same-gender relationships compared to their heterosexual relationships. So intimate partner abuse violence, 16 to 19. Showed that 13.4% of LGBTQIA adults had experienced family violence in the past 2 years, compared with 5.1% of non. All family types of violence were significantly higher, with emotional, psychological abuse being most prevalent. So my point is, so they were talking about gender, and so domestic violence against women has been very, very, there's been a couple of cases in the media about violence against women. So there's been a big thing about stamping out domestic violence against women. And then I, with my big mouth, said, well, hang on a minute. The LGBTQIA people experience violence at a higher rate than non. And wow, was I hounded? And it was, well, hang on a minute. So if we're going to get if we're going to start talking about domestic violence, we need to be stamping out domestic violence, not just at a select group, because you've still got women and men. So this was 2017. So non-LGBTQIA is orange. And so this was out of 33,000 people. So my point, well, I know I have just proven my point. But unfortunately, how dare I speak factually? I know, Lulu. How dare I speak factually? I think that's the problem, is that I speak factually. Like I just speak factually, and because I do a lot of reading, and I do a lot of, or what did I say? I said to someone, I start thinking like a lawyer from both sides. But my point was that if you heard that on Saturday night about we have to stamp out gender violence against women, and you were a man in a same-sex relationship that was suffering from domestic violence, you'd feel pretty hopeless. You would think that there was nothing happen. When I was working for Centrelink, which is that does all the family payments and unemployment payments and stuff, and they have social workers, and I remember a guy that rang up and said that there was domestic violence. And I remember talking to the social worker, and the social worker said, well, he's a man, he should be able to defend himself. And I said, hang on a minute, domestic violence is domestic violence. It's not just about women. So, yes, the thing is, violence against women is still higher. However, we are seeing that same-sex relationships are going to quickly get up there. you know, and I was told that I was actually, yeah, see, look, this is also, look at this. Here we go. This is our watch, violence against women, right? And so we go here, is serious and widespread. So we come down here, key states on violence against women in Australia. Then it says, lesbian, bisexual, and queer women experience high rates of sexual violence than heterosexual women in Australia. Transgender and gender diverse people also experience higher rates of family violence and sexual violence. So that's women against women, correct? So yes, there's a national plan to end violence against women and children, but I'm saying that we just need to end violence. Yeah, so lesbian, bisexual, and queer women expect sexual violence than heterosexuals. Transgender and gender diverse people experience high rates of family violence and sexual violence. It's in this site, but they've just put it in against women. So here's my other thing. What are we going to do? All right, here's the 20. Where was it? 1920. 20. The health and well-being of LGBT, preventing violence against, yeah, that's on. And the Bureau of Statistics. Oh, let's go to the Bureau of Statistics. Oh, Bureau of Statistics. This was 2023. Women's most recent sexual assault by male, 53 were intimate partners, occurred in the home. What the definition is, prevalence rate. So I'm not discounting the fact that women are a higher rate. That's not what my point is. My point is that was that we are starting to learn, you know, we're starting to see a lot more. And I think as more people start to learn or start to report stuff, we might see things change as well. So this is against women. This is for women against men. So, all right. Where was the one about? Yeah. So, and again, as I said, I'd like to see about the other. I'd like to see 31% of women and 42% of men have experienced physical violence. 22% of women and 6.1% have experienced sexual violence. 2 in 5 women experience violence. 2 in 5 men. 1 in 5 women. 1 in 16 men. 1 in 3 women. 2 in 5 men. Partner emotional abuse. So they are there, but no one's talking about experiences of violence since age 15. Women 9.9 million, men 9.5 million. It's pretty shocking when you start adding it all together, hey? And you see, they won't ever. These are the figures they won't show you, because what it's showing you is that while yes, more women than men, look, men are more likely to have physical violence, be physically assaulted. So of women, 18%, 1.7 million, experienced abuse during childhood. Of men, 11%, 1 million, experienced abuse during childhood. They're very close. Look at that. And witnessing parental violence. So this is my state. Doesn't tell me which one is male, if it's male or female, of course. Oh, it's only women. So anyway, there we go. So yes, I speak facts. But they won't ever talk about that because people say it undermines. No, they don't. I mean, women are still very much underpaid, Lulu. There's still a big disparity of pay. You know. So, yeah. Anyway, I've been online for nearly an hour and a half, so I'm going to head off. Look, if you could hit like and subscribe. The replay crew, well, hello. Oh, there's 80 of you watching. The longer I stay on. Yeah, so welcome to the crazy carnival, hey? I thought the thumbnail was quite clever. So yeah, I'm going to head off now, and I thank you for watching. And as I said, well, I'll be around a little bit longer now because I was sort of hoping to get that job. But anyway, you'll have to put up with me for a bit longer now. But if you can come up with a reason why Katie Joy privated that video, I'd be very interested to read that below. I wonder whether her lawyers have been involved at all. Can't help but think that, hey. Anyway, I got my son knows me. He knows when I've had a bad day. It's chocolate and coffee. So he went out, unbeknownst. I hadn't even told him at the time. He knew that I must have been upset because he went and got me chocolate. You'll make a good husband one day. I said to him, "You'll make a good husband one day. Just keep bringing the chocolate and the coffee." Anyway, all right. Thank you for watching. And look, I might be on tomorrow night. We'll see how we go. See what crazies happen tomorrow. I think David McBride's sentencing is now on the 13th, but hopefully, just as the Attorney General will actually step in and intervene before that gets there. But because I'm not really happy having my taxpayers' money working to put a man in jail that should be deemed a hero for exposing war crimes from our Defence Force. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I will catch you next